today we get a lot of backlash from our current generation. Most of us are millennials, I believe. And it's easy to see in social media, older generations and some of us in general, like, bag on our generation. We say we're lazy, we say we're, what's the other word? Not lazy, but just unopportunistic. We don't look for opportunities, we want everything handed to us, and we want it here and now. My quote is, "Those who criticize our generation forget who raised it." That's very true. I agree with this. The earlier generations in social media are the ones criticizing us. Those that were raised in the 70s and 80s are the ones clowning on our generations. Yet they forget that they're the ones that did the work that got us here. They're the ones that raised us. They're the ones that taught us what was right and wrong. So in reality, I believe they're criticizing themselves. They're showing to the world how they failed in a sense of producing a better generation. But that's the aspect on the media, in my personal opinion. But older generations in general will always criticize younger generations. They'll say, back in my day, we didn't do this. But in reality, you probably were worse in your day. You're probably doing things a lot worse than what we were doing. I mean, the earlier generations spawned many things that we now either fear or know about because it happened in earlier generations. I mean, talk about terrorist attacks, we could talk about wars, we could talk about serial killers in general, we could just name it up until now, and we could say, it's not my generation, it's earlier generations that brought these things to us. My generation just knows about it and we're getting blamed for it. Now some of us amongst ourselves don't even blame our own current generation for instance not voting. They're saying we're not motivated, we're only attached to our devices, we're only doing things for us to gratify us. But again, that's I believe still that's an older generation trying to pinpoint blame on us for their wrongdoings. So I definitely agree that those who criticize my generation forget who raised it. Thank you.
All right, I think the reference to the shared experience is fine. The setup of your proposition, or your topic, I should say, is pretty good. And your point of view is clear. I do think you need a little bit more structure because you kind of just get going and head down that path without telling us how we're going to get there. You end up with some good ideas that don't always have the detail that's going to make them as interesting as they could be, but I think you have the right notion behind what you're trying to say there. You just need to get some more content to go along with it. Presentation-wise, I think you speak up very effectively. You're using your voice well. I think when I'm looking at your eye contact and the way you're trying to relate to the audience with your with the upper part of your torso, you're doing fine. The thing that I noticed that's a little bit problematic is your foot placement. You've got that ballet pose sort of thing, one foot in front of the other, and your feet are a little too close together, so you look a little unbalanced. So if I'm just watching you from the top part of your body, you're doing fine. But if I'm paying attention to the bottom half, that's a little bit awkward, and you want to be consistent. I think you just plant your feet a little bit wider, and I think you'll look less unbalanced. Good gestures, like I said, the audience contact was well. I like that you came back to the point at the end of the presentation and made your point pretty clearly. Good job, thank you.